Hello everybody, welcome to our presentation on connecting PMO with a business as part of the adoption of a big PMO. This session is being presented at the APM's PMO conference, and this is actually a practice go just so I can get my timings right, so please bear with. Well, my name's David Dunning and I've got a number of interests. I'm actually chairman of a small business, a project partner for Microsoft called CPS. I'm a co-founder of a consulting company called Deep Team. I founded something called the Business Integrated Governance Community Interest Company, which has developed a body of knowledge which we'll explore today. I've co-founded something called Go Big with a partner who I'll introduce you to in a second, and I've been around for many years presenting and supporting APM extensively as part of the APM's portfolio management SIG committee, and I've presented at PMO sessions, program management conferences, and of course portfolio management sessions. I've been helped today putting this content together extensively by Andre. Andre is also a director of the Business Integrated Governance Community Interest Company, and he's part of the group, the Go Big group. So please thank you to Andre for helping us with this, and he'll be able to answer questions about all this stuff as and when you have them too. So what shall we cover today? Well, we'll delve into what PMOs typically do and how typically PMOs connect with their businesses today, and we'll explore some possibilities as to where they could play. One of the areas we'll explore is in relation to strategy delivery, and we'll discuss the various components of strategy delivery as being above and beyond just projects. We'll then see what you guys think. We'll hear your thoughts on how well you currently connect with your strategic layers, and draw out your learnings and thoughts on how well or effective that currently is. I'll offer you Business Integrated Governance as a facility with which we can connect a PMO to the business more effectively, and we'll have some final questions and conclusions at the end. The engagement piece, the big piece where we ask you questions, we'll use slido.com for, so you'll be able to use that on your phones. So when we split you up into tables, well, you're split up into tables. When we press the go button on the engagement piece, we'll invite you to connect with Slido and to, as you have your discussions, collect your thoughts as you have them through Slido, and we'll go through those in a little while. So PMO community, where do you play? I think there are people here from all kinds of PMOs in all kinds of industries, so to stereotype where you play is daft, if not pointless. But certainly there are people here who look after projects and programs. Some of those projects and programs will be for change, they'll be for improvement, they'll be for developing products, they'll be for doing business and delivering to customers. In almost all cases, we'll be connecting with our business to deliver outputs and benefits too, so we'll need to collaborate and connect that way. We'll need to get funding, so we'll have to talk to the finance and secure funding for business cases. Unless we have dedicated resources on our projects, we'll have to haggle for people's time to pull them into our projects to get things done. And we'll have to persuade a sponsor to spend more than 2 minutes a year helping us solve problems and fighting our cause. Some of us may be from portfolios, from significant collections of projects that are aimed at particular change objectives, perhaps, where the focus is on value rather than outcomes and benefits. but where we're very much focused on what's in it for the organisation, not just what the outputs are from the project team. There'll be a process where rather than maybe going and seeking funding, the portfolio is about allocating funding that's been agreed at a high level. Similarly, allocating resources, but there'll still be negotiation for resources that aren't dedicated within our areas, and we'll be maybe working at a slightly more senior level, a director level or head of as our ultimate sponsor. I guess we support projects and programs with PMOs. We may have defined something called an EPMO, which looks after all of our projects, or even the portfolios that we run and operate. But I guess not all of the projects we work on are strategic projects, as in projects that are going to advance the strategy of our organisation forwards. And in fact, in many cases, I think it's fair to say that when we're defining our projects, we often are, instead of looking at the objective we're setting up a project to achieve, we're looking at which strategic objectives that our project supports. And that's an interesting perspective we'll dig into in a bit with you. But if we do have strategic projects, they need to be connected with our strategy. And sometimes I guess our strategy is very obvious and very visible and very connected, but other times it's not. And we're definitely dealing with a slightly different community set when we're talking about strategic projects, where instead of perhaps achieving value or outcomes, we're looking to help the organisation reduce its corporate risk, increase profit, increase share price. Instead of allocating funding between competing projects, we're looking to allocate funding between business as usual, change, and value creation work streams. It's a lot more macro than allocating funds to a business case. And rather than allocating resources between projects, we're looking to deploy resources across our organisation, again through business as usual, value creation and change. And our sponsors are going to be a lot more senior, perhaps even still, with a CEO or a board member who that looks across functions and drives strategy in that way. So we've got a very different community to work with if we're going to connect with the business at the strategic level. So let's delve into that strategic connection a little bit more. Let's look at how our PMO perhaps can support strategy delivery. Well, in fact, strategy delivery isn't all about projects. Projects are not enough to deliver strategy. Our strategy spans many domains. Yes, we'll be tasking and setting expectations for strategic change, but we'll also be looking to achieve objectives and targets with respect to product and asset creation. We'll be looking to generate value from how the business functions, which is more than just from savings through change. We'll be looking to operate and deliver performance. We'll be looking to make sales, manufacture, carry out service. There'll be all kinds of targets and expectations which are a component of our strategy delivery, in addition to the products and assets we create and the strategic changes we have to make. And the challenge we have as an organisation is that if we have a holistic picture of our business purpose, we devolve that and decompose it into a vision as to where we're going to be. We'll then create the stepping stones, the strategy of how we're going to get there. We'll need to cascade those objectives and accompanying resources into each of these domains. We'll need to allocate some to change, allocate some to product creation, allocate some to keeping the lights on, and we'll need to keep those allocations in balance so that we achieve performance and we drive the targets and objectives in each of these separate domains. And that goes much wider than just strategic projects. And we need to be able to track against those objectives. Are we achieving? Are we spending resources in the right proportions? Are we getting the outcomes we expect? And that's beyond the projects and programs. It's beyond a portfolio of projects and programs. It's more a more business encompassing vision. And in many organisations, we find there's a gap. The PMO doesn't necessarily step up to this gap. There's this kind of stuff seems somehow not to be managed in organisations. Where I can't find. There might well be a strategy office that talks about defining a strategy, but that doesn't necessarily reach down and connect performance up. We might have a corporate governance function which looks at corporate governance and corporate risk, but doesn't necessarily reach down and operate this connection. So our experience is that there's an opportunity here within which we can extend our PMO and use our PMO to connect the business with the strategic layers. So let's just explore that a little further. So here's an organisation with owners, a board, and some executive directors who develop the business purpose, who have a vision for where the organisation is. There's a strategy of how to get there, and there's clarity as to what are the stepping stones to achieve that. And here is a typical organisation with heads of departments, executives that look after departments, who look after our products and look after our change portfolio. And each of these departments has a business plan and a set of objectives and resources deployed to meet those objectives. Products pretty much the same. And in our portfolio, there's a business case for change, which is broken down into objectives, which we have, in this instance, cascaded into enabling projects to achieve that. I guess a very typical growth area and development area for a PMO, beyond the effectiveness and efficiency that they provide to project management and program management, is to step into and facilitate, support, operate portfolio management, where the PMO, it becomes a portfolio or enterprise project management office. And starts to focus more on value, on looking at the objectives and the key results as much as the progress and the milestones within individual projects. So there's one area that we're probably all very familiar with extending into. But it's not just projects and programs that have objectives and key results. Product areas have objectives and key results. Business units have objectives and key results. So there is an opportunity to get hold of objectives and key results holistically, and to support management of those as an organisation. And why can't a PMO potentially step up and support organisations in their management of objectives and key results, much like they would in a portfolio scenario for change programs? Furthermore, perhaps we're all using the same resource pools. Perhaps we're all using the same leadership to do stuff with. Maybe we have dependencies that go across all these areas. Perhaps there's an opportunity not to extend our view of resource management from being simply about getting resources allocated to projects to be able to managing and balancing resources between all of the objectives that we have. That's certainly a potential upsell for a PMO. And lastly, of course, then there is the continuing to manage that connection from our business areas to the strategic objectives and the very most senior strategic levels. So this is a very sophisticated picture for a PMO, and it's rather than perhaps here thinking about connecting the PMO with the business, we're actually starting to think of connecting the business with the PMO.